Welcome back. Now, many would expect that the market for luxury goods has collapsed in the midst of a global economic slowdown, but emerging markets seem to have bucked the trend. So what's driving this demand? We're now joined by Arnd Herrmann, who's the CEO of Luxury4Less.co.za, to tell us about this exclusive shopping club where people are still spending despite the recession.
They do, yeah. And it's quite amazing that that a business like that, we only have started at the beginning of the year, has taken up quite nicely, and there's huge interest. The fact is, it's not that people don't want to buy luxury goods anymore, but they look for better and smarter ways to buy those items.
So what sort of people are you targeting? Who are these VIP shoppers you've identified?
Well, it's basically South Africans who are brand conscious, South Africans who like to look for bargains and save some money, and that most probably covers 100% of the females and then 80% of the male population of South Africa.
And the luxury goods that are on offer?
It's across the board. We can see very clearly that there's a trend for top fashion items. Top brands offering clothing is one of our top sales items. Shoes, which honestly personally surprised me quite a bit, because my impression was buying shoes online is certainly not something people are going to do, but they know the sizes.
Yes, well, if you've seen the price of Jimmy Choo's lately.
Yeah, that's true. Otherwise, really electronic items. And as long as it's top end, and yeah.
Okay, and the demographic, I mean, we've been told that in South Africa, the people who've been fueling recent growth were the so-called black diamonds, this new black middle class. Is that a large component of your buyers?
I would say if we look at our current memberships, it's really across the board. We've got all kind of different backgrounds represented, but the black diamonds are certainly playing a major role.
And the pricing of goods, I mean, when you go to the retailer, you're not buying things at cost. And if I'm coming to a Luxury4Less.co.za, I'm hoping that you're giving me as close to as possible the cost price. That's
certain expectation we are able to fulfill. That's the whole idea. Look, we sell online, so we don't have to rent warehouses. We don't stock. Everything we sell is run as a campaign, so it's time limited and quantity limited. And the pricing we can offer then obviously is very competitive, and usually you're not able to get those items for the same price.
Okay, let's bring in Vickers on this one. We know that luxury goods suppliers, stocks like Richemont, have not been doing very well, and that's largely because of the environment that we're in. And then you have a website like this one offering a large component of those products, and they seem to be doing well.
Indeed, one of the things that people usually used to say was luxury will always do well because there will always be rich people. In this current environment, rich people have been very seriously affected. And what we've seen across the board in shopping is much more value consciousness. So to some extent, when you were feeling that there's no end to your wealth, you took your girlfriend shopping, and it was part of the experience to walk in and have someone attend to you. Whereas now people say, I can still actually get this, but I need to actually think about affordability. So I think the moment that it's not that people don't want to buy luxury goods, it's that they have a much bigger focus on affordability, and this is where this whole
Let's talk about the so-called debt trap, because I think that's been one of the biggest Achilles heels for the South African consumer. Over 70% on average of disposable income services debt, services these store accounts. We're living beyond our means, and I've been talking about this burgeoning middle class, but the burgeoning middle class have also thrived on debt, and in this current recessionary environment, it seems to be their creditworthiness in some respects has been the most constraining factor.
Yes, I think that one of the things that you will see is that the kind of people who are shopping now are the people who have not made too much debt, because the banks are incredibly tight at this stage in South Africa. So people who have been living too high on debt are under great pressure. So and one of the biggest problems with the whole black diamonds phenomenon has been these people are very ambitious, and they tend to be, let's say, led into too much debt because they want to acquire those status symbols. And so the excess debt has been the biggest problem with the whole black diamonds phenomenon.
Arnd, I know that this is a local service, but is there anything international like this? Because as Vickers was saying earlier on, we're seeing fluctuations in commodity prices. But if you looked at platinum, for instance, and jewelry sales, there was an upsurge, over 25% of an increase in jewelry sales in new markets like China. The vehicle manufacturing sector is in distress, yet more and more people in India and Russia are buying their cars. So emerging markets have become this backbone.
Yeah. Look, there are other businesses like Luxury4Less overseas. The idea came from France. There are quite a few private shopping clubs in Europe and America, and we also clearly see a trend that concepts like that will also be embraced in emerging markets.
And then would you use your website to market locally produced high-end goods to an international clientele?
Of course we will.
Okay, well, I wish you well.
Thank you very much.
Arnd Herrmann from Luxury4Less.co.za, CEO of this VIP exclusive shopping club. I need a sponsor if I'm coming to join your club. I need a boyfriend.
Okay, but I need an invitation first.
Thank you very much. Now, in recent years, Kenya's telecom market has shown that increased competition in the mobile